What is up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kenny, and this is the Music Hustlers podcast. This is a solo video for you guys. I wanted to drop some tips and just knowledge, things that I have learned, things that I wanted to talk about staying relevant during the pandemic. As you all know, there are no shows right now. There's not a lot going on in the music industry, and it's hurting a lot of bands, and it's making me quite sad. So I just wanted to drop a couple of tips, some knowledge, things that I think every band should implement in order to stay relevant during this time. But before I get into all of that, if you have never been here before and this is your first time, welcome. My name's Kenny. This is the Music Hustlers podcast. Please subscribe, hit that notification bar, and like the video if you're into this content, if you're into what I'm talking about. With that being said, let's get right to it. The first thing I wanted to talk about is making sure that you and your bandmates are on the same page. And I've talked about this prior back on the podcast before I started doing video. I've talked about how band members as a unit should be on the same page. And to bring this back to the pandemic and staying relevant, I think that you and your band should really get on, whether, if you guys aren't necessarily comfortable seeing each other, you can get on a Zoom call and talk to each other, communicate with each other, and understand where each other are, what exactly each other's expectations are for the other person, and make sure that you guys just know exactly what it is you want to accomplish during this pandemic and how it is you want to stay relevant. If you guys want to even continue now that shows aren't necessarily a thing for a while, shows could not come back. They might come back next year, but who really knows at this point if they will come back. So it's like shows aren't really a thing, and for most musicians that's the main reason that they play music. At least for me, that was the main reason that I got into music. And as I've evolved and gotten older, it's not necessarily the only reason that I play music now, but without that incentive, without the opportunity of playing shows, who really wants to be, a musician? I'm interested to know your thoughts on that. Actually, leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on that. What drives you as a musician? Because for me, like I said, for a long time it was playing shows, and as I've gotten older, it's more about just the creating music aspect of it. But without performance, without performing being a thing that we can do right now, it's hindering a lot of musicians' morale, I think, and it's causing them not to want to work as hard. And it really bums me out to see that. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is recycle old content. And by recycle old content, I don't mean just post an old photo that you took 10 years ago. I mean, take your old content into an app like Canva or an app like Adobe Spark Post and use one of their animation tools, or put a text on that, or blur that photo in some way, make that content new in some way, and then post that content and use it as a new piece of content because you just made it new. And then tip number 3 is continue the live streams even after lockdown. So when lockdown first started, I saw a ton of bands that were doing live streams on a weekly basis where they were just kind of hanging out with their fans. They were, doing merch giveaways, all kinds of cool things. And then as lockdown stopped and people started going back to work and things like that, the live streams kind of started to dwindle and we stopped seeing them as much. And I think that you should be doing them because that's the way of the future now. Like, people are on the internet. I've talked about it a ton of before on this podcast, but people are on the internet. That's where your fans are. That's where you're going to find your fans. And if you're doing something on a weekly basis, like a live stream, people are going to eat it up. And if you're making those live streams even more interesting by doing extreme things like that band None to No One, shout out None to No One. If you were doing extreme things like them, where they had a thing called Taser Trivia, where they answered local and national trivia questions about music, and they ended up getting tased for every wrong answer. I thought it was awesome, and people really dug it up. And then they did, some other crazy stuff after that. And I think that more bands should continue doing live streams right now because that is really how you're going to have a way to connect with your audience and really know what your audience likes. It's a way to really understand your audience in a new way. And I will say that I'm guilty. I've talked about doing live streams and then I don't do them and all of that, but this is just as much a message to myself as it is to you. Do more live streams. I think they are the way of the future, and I think that you as a musician, as an artist, should focus on what the future is, because you want to ultimately connect with the next generation, right? And they're online, so get online and do things that they engage with. And on the subject of live streams, find someone to promote a live stream concert for you. So recently I saw on Facebook that the Nile in Mesa, Arizona, if you're not from here in Arizona, but the Nile Theater, the world famous Nile Theater, is in Mesa, and they're doing live streams for artists, for hip hop artists, for hardcore bands, for all kinds of artists and musicians alike. And my point is, you should find someone to get you on a live stream, or get the gear and put one on yourself. But live stream concerts are something that are here to stay. They're not going away. So just keep it up and find someone who will put you on, and find the right one. Think of it like a concert. Think of it like a legitimate concert, because that's where concerts are right now, and that is where concerts are going to continue to be for the foreseeable future. So get on that wave. Find someone who is putting them on, and just go and ask them if you can be a part of it, or like I said, get your own gear and put one on yourself. Don't just put on a cell phone quality practice whatever. That's not going to cut it. You need to get pro gear if you're going to do it yourself. But find a promoter. There's all kinds of promoters out there. If you're in the music scene, I'm sure you know a couple of promoters. Hit one of them up and be like, hey, who can I hit up, or are you doing anything? Find a live stream concert and get on it, because that is where the future is. That's where things are headed right now. They're where things are right now, and I don't see that changing for a while. So get on it, enjoy the movement, think of it like a concert, and have a good time. Think of it like a show. Go off every time. Put on the best dang live performance anyone's ever seen. Anything less will not cut it. So do your best, give it your all every time, and treat it like it's a show, and people will take notice. The second to last thing that I wanted to talk about is study your insights on your socials. And that is pretty self-explanatory, guys. Go into your insights on your Facebook pages, on your Instagrams, on all of your socials, and study what it is you're doing right, study what it is you're doing wrong, and figure out how to improve. Even ask your audience what they would like. Like I said, if you're doing those live streams, you can ask your audience, hey, what would you like to see from us? What can we do to improve? What can we do to make you guys happy? Because ultimately your job is to entertain them. That's the mindset you have to have, because ultimately you're serving them, I think. Ultimately you're offering a service for them, and you want them to be happy, just like I want you guys to be happy watching my videos. Hey, please subscribe and like if you haven't already. If you made it this far and you haven't liked and subscribed, do it right now. But the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that is, it's a good one. I've been talking about this since the beginning of the pandemic. If you know me, if you personally have hung out with me, or you've been on a live stream that I've put on Facebook, you have heard me say this before. But the thing that I want to say, the most important thing in this video, is continue the hustle, especially now that everyone's asleep. I want you to really think about that. There aren't shows right now, which means a lot of bands are not doing anything. A lot of national artists, a lot of local artists, they're just artists not doing anything right now. And it's weird. I don't understand it, because shows are not everything when it comes to making music. You can put it out and the world gets to see your art. And to me, that's beautiful. So, why are you sleeping? Why are you taking a break? Everyone else is taking a break. You need to hustle right now. So get to it. Get on it. Keep working. Hustle like your career, like your life depends on it, because you could create great things in this whole period. You could do things that are incredible. You've got a lot of time on your hands right now. Nothing is open. So do things right now. Make things and build. Now get to it, boys and girls, and anyone else who's watching this. I'm out of here. Peace.